What if I told you that the same agency that sent mankind to the moon has also worked on weapons so extreme they could destroy entire cities, pulverize asteroids, or erase whole countries from space? Because while the world still believes NASA only builds rockets and telescopes, the United States has spent decades developing a hidden arsenal designed to dominate the planet from outside the atmosphere. We're talking about orbital lasers capable of melting infrastructure, missiles launched from the moon, radar-invisible killer satellites, and autonomous platforms that don't even need explosives to unleash absolute chaos. Today on Tech Zen X, you're going to discover the 10 most brutal, real, and devastating weapons directly linked to NASA. Systems that could transform outer space into the next apocalyptic battlefield. So, get ready, because what you're about to see will leave you speechless. Let's begin. Top 10 Thor. Forget explosives. This system, nicknamed the Rods of God, doesn't need gunpowder, uranium, or missiles, only gravity. This experimental project, proposed by engineers linked to the Pentagon and NASA, seeks to place massive rods of pure tungsten, roughly 6 meters long, into orbit. Their purpose? Fall at hypersonic speeds onto targets on Earth. And although it sounds simple, it is one of the most destructive weapons ever conceived. When one of these rods is released from orbit, it plunges downward at more than 30,000 kilometers per hour, reaching a kinetic energy equivalent to a small nuclear bomb, but without radiation or any detectable launch signature. Imagine a rod the size of a telephone pole piercing straight through a buried bunker, a command center, or even a nuclear silo, with surgical precision and complete silence. The impact can penetrate up to 60 meters underground, pulverizing the target in seconds. Although never officially deployed, Thor remains active in military simulations and appears in multiple classified documents regarding future orbital warfare. And here's the disturbing part. A full rain of kinetic rods could be launched without warning, from invisible platforms, a literal storm of metal from the sky. Top 9. DART. On the surface, it was just a scientific mission to redirect an asteroid. But behind its elegant space facade hides one of the most dangerous technologies humanity has ever tested. DART was the first real kinetic impact system ever launched by NASA. In September of 2022, it intentionally collided with the moonlet of the asteroid Didymos, shifting its orbit by more than 30 minutes. All that with a single impact. No explosives. Now think about this. If a simple 500-kilogram spacecraft moved a celestial body over 100 meters across, what do you think it could do to a target on Earth? DART proved not only that we can alter the trajectory of space objects, but that we can hit with millimetric precision from millions of kilometers away, using only speed and artificial intelligence. From a military standpoint, this capability is terrifying. An adapted version could become a non-explosive orbital bomb capable of destroying enemy satellites, lunar bases, space stations, or even launching an attack from outside the atmosphere with zero chance of interception. And the most unsettling part? DART was only the beginning. NASA is already working on versions that are larger, faster, and far more autonomous. Because once you can move an asteroid with surgical precision, you don't need missiles. You only need the perfect trajectory. Top 8. Helmd. What you're about to hear isn't science fiction. It's raw physics turned into a weapon. Helmd, High-Energy Laser Mobile Demonstrator, is one of the first high-energy laser weapons developed jointly by NASA, Boeing, and the U.S. Department of Defense. Originally created to intercept rockets, projectiles, and enemy drones, Helmd fires an invisible beam of light at the speed of light, burning, melting, or exploding targets mid-air. Without sound, without smoke, and without debris. Yes, you heard correctly. No flame, no noise, no shrapnel, just an invisible laser beam that vaporizes whatever it touches in under a second. But Helmd's true potential isn't on Earth's battlefields. It's in space. With its precision tracking system and concentrated energy, Helmd could be mounted on orbital platforms, space stations, or even interplanetary defense craft, becoming humanity's first true laser shield. Imagine a war where missiles never launch, because they're vaporized before leaving the silo, or enemy satellites quietly melted from above without a single explosion. That is the silent and absolute power of high-energy lasers, and NASA has already tested this technology on moving targets. with 100% effectiveness. Because in the new space battlefield, light will be the deadliest bullet on Earth. Top 7. X-37B. At first glance, it looks like a mini space shuttle, but what the X-37 Bravo hides is far more dangerous than any civilian imagines. Developed jointly by NASA, Boeing, and the Pentagon, this unmanned spaceplane has been orbiting Earth for years, carrying out missions that remain completely classified. No one outside the Department of Defense knows what it carries, but leaks point to something chilling: anti-satellite systems, kinetic weapons, miniaturized nuclear packages, and orbital strike platforms. And here's the part that keeps analysts awake at night. The X-37B can change its orbit at will, remain in space for more than 900 days, and return to Earth as if nothing happened. Imagine a vehicle that can spy on strategic targets from orbit, carry a compact nuclear device, and drop it from space undetected, disable or destroy satellites using an invisible laser system, or simply strike a ground target with orbital velocity kinetic force equivalent to a massive explosion. That is the X-37B. And the most terrifying part? It's already fully operational. The United States has launched it several times, and continues to do so. While the world looks up expecting meteorites, the real danger might be orbiting silently above their heads. Top 6. D-STAR. Despite its sci-fi name, D-STAR is a very real project, created by researchers at the University of California in collaboration with NASA. And its official purpose is just as ambitious as it is terrifying. A giant orbital platform equipped with directed energy lasers capable of vaporizing entire asteroids, or anything else that gets in its way. But here's the horrifying twist. Calculations show that if built at full scale, DE-STAR could concentrate enough energy to wipe out an entire city from orbit. No explosives, no missiles, no nuclear bombs. A single sustained beam from above could raise the temperature of a ground target to more than 3,000 degrees Celsius, melting vehicles, structures, military bases, or erasing a small country from the map in seconds. According to theoretical models, a DE-STAR, 10 kilometers wide, could vaporize a 500-meter asteroid completely. And it could also serve as the ultimate deterrent, silently targeting strategic facilities from space, where no missile defense can touch it. Although still a conceptual project, the mere fact that NASA and associated labs are developing technology like this reveals exactly where the future of warfare is heading. Top 5. HAARP. Few modern projects have generated more mystery, controversy, and conspiracy than HAARP, the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, located in Alaska, funded by the Air Force, the Navy, DARPA, and yes, with NASA-linked support. Officially, HAARP was built to study the ionosphere, but its real capabilities go far beyond anything publicly acknowledged. This system can emit powerful beams of high-frequency radio waves, concentrating them into specific regions of the ionosphere. The result? Heating, disturbing or modifying that atmospheric zone, affecting communications, radar, satellites, and, according to some analysts, even entire climate patterns. Some unconfirmed reports claim HAARP could trigger earthquakes, hurricanes, droughts, or torrential storms, acting as a silent geophysical weapon with catastrophic potential. NASA's involvement is what makes it even more disturbing. Orbital sensors, atmospheric measurement instruments, and monitoring satellites used in HAARP tests rely on NASA-built technology. This has led many experts to consider HAARP one of the most discreet and potentially dangerous weapons ever created. It leaves no crater. It fires no missile. But if it could truly manipulate weather, it could collapse economies, devastate agriculture, and cripple nations, without anyone knowing who attacked. Because if you can cause famine, blackouts, or agricultural collapse, you don't need to pull a trigger to win a war. Top 4. SBIRS. Imagine a system capable of detecting a missile launch thousands of kilometers away, in less than 1 second. It doesn't matter if it launches from a submarine in the Pacific, a silo in Siberia, or a secret base underground. If it generates heat, SBIRS sees it. SBIRS, Space-Based Infrared System, is the most advanced infrared detection network ever created by the United States. A constellation of ultra-secret satellites operated by the Space Force, the Pentagon, and integrated with NASA's aerospace technology. These satellites scan the entire planet in real time with incredibly sensitive infrared sensors. Their primary mission? Detect any suspicious thermal signature, nuclear engines, hypersonic missile tests, even atomic detonations. But that's only the beginning. SBIRS isn't just surveillance, it is the backbone of America's nuclear shield. When an enemy missile is detected, SBIRS can trigger automated responses, launch interceptors, alert the president, or even initiate an immediate nuclear retaliation. Its precision is so extreme that it can track objects moving at more than 20,000 kilometers per hour. A feat only possible thanks to NASA's optics, satellite technology, and thermal imaging expertise. SBIRS is not merely a defense system. It is a silent strategic weapon, controlling the balance of the planet from orbit. Because if you can see every move your enemy makes before it happens, you don't need to shoot first. You just press the right button at the right second. Top 3. Lunar Planetary Defense Laser. Imagine a weapon so powerful, it sits directly on the lunar surface. A lunar-based orbital laser platform designed not only to defend Earth from space threats, but to neutralize military targets from deep space. This idea isn't new. Since the 1970s, NASA, the Pentagon, and DARPA have considered classified proposals for installing weapons directly on the moon. The goal? A permanent defense platform with full planetary coverage, impossible to intercept or destroy from Earth. With the Artemis program bringing the United States back to the moon, plans for long-term lunar infrastructure are already in motion. And hidden among those plans is something few speak about publicly: a high-energy lunar laser station capable of firing at atmospheric targets or mush Earth orbit targets with pinpoint accuracy. This system would use solar energy harvested directly on the moon, with no atmosphere to scatter the light, feeding a devastating solid-state laser. If a ballistic missile, an asteroid, or even an enemy base is detected, the lunar laser could fire and vaporize the target within seconds. From the moon, it could cover half the planet at all times, with no atmospheric interference, no geographic obstacles, and no way for enemies to respond. And the alarming part? The United States already possesses the necessary technology: long-range sensors, predictive artificial intelligence, and laser systems like Helmd, D-Star, and YAL-1 that could be adapted to a lunar platform. Because if you control the moon, you control the most important battlefield of the future: outer space. Top 2. Modified nuclear FOBS. Imagine a missile that can circle the entire planet at low altitude, evade every radar on Earth, and drop onto its target from the most unpredictable angle possible, equipped with a high-yield nuclear warhead. That isn't science fiction. That is the new modified fractional orbital bombardment system. Originally a Soviet concept, FOBS launched a missile into low orbit, let it circle the Earth, then dropped it toward its target, especially from the south, where US radars were blind during the Cold War. But now, the United States has upgraded the idea with 21st century technology: hypersonic propulsion, orbital maneuverability, precision nuclear warheads, real-time satellite guidance, and the ability to evade anti-missile shields like THAAD or Aegis. This modified FOBS doesn't follow predictable ballistic arcs. It triggers no early warning systems. And worst of all, it can hit at speeds above Mach 20, dropping from orbit with no possibility of interception. According to recent Pentagon leaks, the newest FOBS variant could carry MIRVs, multiple independently targetable warheads, capable of wiping multiple cities in one single orbital strike. Even more disturbing, FOBS falls into a legal gray zone. Because it operates in low orbit, it avoids most nuclear control treaties like START or INF. In a world where space is now the new battlefield, a single silent FOBS could become the first shot of the modern nuclear apocalypse. And the final question remains: who will fire it first? Top 1. NASA Nerva 2. The most dangerous combination humanity has ever created: a nuclear reactor in space, attached to a propulsion system that multiplies the speed of any missile by 10, capable of staying in orbit for years and striking from the vacuum without warning. This monster is called Nerva 2, and yes, it was born inside NASA. The original Nerva project began in the 1960s, when NASA and the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission developed a nuclear-powered rocket engine capable of speeds and endurance impossible for chemical rockets. But few people know that Nerva 2 was also considered as a potential weapons platform. Imagine an unmanned spacecraft with a nuclear reactor, orbiting silently above the atmosphere, ready to launch hypersonic warheads anywhere on the planet in seconds. No launch signature, no radar trace, no defense possible. This technology would allow the United States to place nuclear arsenals directly in orbit, creating a nearly unstoppable space-based strike system. And the terrifying part? Nerva 2 was successfully tested. Its engines reached temperatures above 3,000 Kelvin and produced enough thrust to accelerate tons of mass to hypersonic speeds directly from orbit. Although officially canceled for political and ethical reasons, the legacy of Nerva lives on inside secret Pentagon and DARPA programs, including concepts for nuclear-powered orbital weapons. If Nerva 2 ever becomes operational, it would be the most lethal weapon ever created, a nuclear titan suspended in the sky, capable of striking from nowhere and turning entire civilizations to radioactive dust in seconds. And there you have it. 10 real weapons developed under NASA's seal, not to explore, but to destroy. Systems so advanced, so silent, and so extreme they could turn outer space into the battlefield of the apocalypse. Because when science stops looking toward the stars and starts aiming back at Earth, the future at stake is no longer a war, it's humanity itself. Now tell us, which of these weapons terrified you the most? Do you think NASA should continue participating in military technology? Leave your answer in the comments. And if this video shocked you, hit the like button, subscribe, and activate the bell, because in the next episode of Tech ZNX, we're taking you even closer to the weapons that could change the fate of the planet.